Good evening. Welcome to Camnet TV's main news bulletin. Let's take a look at the stories that are making headlines this evening. Workers assaulted by a Chinese national speak out. Unknown people demolish booth at COMESA market. Given LUBINDA assures China of removing AFRICOM from Zambia once PF bounces back in 2026. And in international news, Niger COUP leader visits Mali. And in sports news, Morocco progresses to the knockout stage of the FIFA Women's World Cup. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Do join me with the details shortly.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now the news in detail. Workers of the embattled Chinese businessman who has gone viral in a video on social media whipping his employees have spoken out. Speaking in a separate interview with Camnet TV News, the workers say the Chinese employer gives them targets to sell 10 bells every day, failure to which they are whipped and deduct 50 kwacha from their salary. The workers say the employer does not also own statutory obligations such as NAPSA and NIMA. We have more in this report.
From a mere look, this shop looks ordinary. However, this is a scene of a video which has taken over social media of a Chinese employer captured beating his employees. Before the arrival of this reporter, the shop was open, with Zambian workers going on with their business, but closed the premises after noticing the presence of the media. When approached, most of the workers were hesitant to speak to this reporter, but Matthew Mumba has had enough.
I don't care. I'm a Zambian. I want to save my people. So, yes, I want to save my people. Singa like in Mazambian manzanga bavutika then maforeign bakasekela muno. It's not making sense. Uja muntu uja muzapeza kapena ama timenya kapena na vintu sibo kwa na vyali navo kapena na mapepa sibo kwa na kapena na ngena illegal. We don't know.
Mumba alleges that the erring Chinese employer uses some officials in government to escape unpunished whenever the workers report his atrocities.
I'll take you to police. Manja happens of not speak of police once because of my boy and uncle are underweight. For what reason? I speak of police once. For what reason? That's not making sense. No. Send what funny congaida music. One on Muntuakti, San Pereka Pokunapsa. Tiptima sevens are still on a vet sevens. Contract, no contracts. No Nima. No drama Tijuba. Could pass some less money.
Other workers who spoke on condition of anonymity said the Chinese official gives the workers a target of selling 10 bells a day, failure to which they are beaten and receive a 50 kwacha salary deduction.
I'm Chinese, I'm Sheta. I'm at Pasa targets like 10 bells in a day. So, ukakanjua kugulisa 10 bells in a day, you are being beaten. Of which per contract fisikamba so, and then wakakumenyani uzano kata vasija pay up, but at the end of the month wazajuako ma 50 kwacha deduction wajuako basala yatu ina 1.3
However, the Minister of Labour and Social Security says the Chinese employer was charged for his wrongdoing. This is not the first such incident where Zambian workers have complained of mistreatment in the hands of mostly foreign employers. In August 2022, a Chinese national at Hyundai Investment was caught on camera beating a Zambian worker who he long accused of stealing plastics, which he later found after checking the CCTV. Therefore, such occurrences puts into question punitive and preventive measures of government, especially Minister of Labour and Social Security. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Some concerned citizens of Lusaka's Kabanana area have called on the local leadership to take action against individuals erecting makeshift stores on the road reserves. A check by Camnet TV News found that some shop owners have put footbridges without caveats, thereby closing the whole drainage system in order to allow customers access the stores built on the road reserves. Meanwhile, Mpulungu Ward 26 Councillor Mwango Chileshe says he has engaged the engineering department at the Lusaka City Council for the possible demolition of the structures. More in this report.
Prevention is better than cure, they say. Building stores in road reserves to win the attention of potential customers continues to be the order of the day. Here in Lusaka's Kabanana area, some booth owners have completely closed this drainage system.
The confusion at Lusaka's COMESA market has deepened, with some traders waking up to the demolition of 10 booths with merchandise missing. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Kombo, hooted an eviction notice by the Lusaka City Council LCC to demolish 236 booths behind COMESA Secretariat. However, a check by Camnet TV News on Thursday found 10 booths in front of the market uprooted, suspecting that a grinder was used in the night, with some traders accounting for losses. Speaking on behalf of the aggravated traders, Francis Simuchinga accused the market leadership, which has been dragged to court over its election, of carrying out the illegal demolition. More in the following report.
The never-ending troubles at Lusaka's COMESA market have deteriorated. The market over the years has seen protests of traders against what they claim a self-imposed leadership. The leadership wrangles are since in the courts of law. The wrangles in recent days have boiled over after a demolition notice of 236 booths from the Lusaka City Council LCC surfaced on social media. Some market leaders, after consultations with the council on August 1st, told this reporter demolition would take place away from the market behind COMESA Secretariat, accusing named leaders at the market of manipulating the letters to abuse their fellows.
Corruption. This is why we have gone to court. And what brought us here at Civic Center was the letters which they are manipulating. We are from seeing the Director of Planning, who has continued refusing what Kachingwe is doing. He said the area that they have given the notice is not the COMESA market inside there.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Kombo, however, intervened after cries from the affected traders. However, against Mr. Kombo's guidance, some traders at the market woke up to a shock Thursday after their booths were uprooted in front of COMESA market. According to the traders, LCC expressed ignorance on the matter as they blamed the same individual whose name keep popping up. One of the representatives of the traders, Francis Simuchinga, said the traders will follow up the matter to the latter and ensure that the culprits involved are brought to book.
So for us, we are not happy with this kind of a situation. We all need freedom. We all need liberty. No one is above the law. So we are seeing other people getting the law into their own hands. This is why we have demanded even to the government that these people who want to take the law in their own hands, they should show us where they're getting these powers.
Another representative, Lucky Karuba, also expressed displeasure at the state of the affairs at the market.
Where on earth? This is a market. They are saying they have built these stands on the drainage. If you can have a look, this is not a drainage.
This is a drainage.
This is a drainage.
This is a drainage. You see? This is a drainage.
And it's actually him, this criminal, is the one who sold the shops which these young guys were supposed to occupy when he wasn't even in office. So this is our cry. Every time we want to complain, he says, I'll go to the office of the so-called and so on. The police is mine.
One can only left to wonder how the impasse at COMESA, from corruption allegations in reconstruction of the gutted market to operations which has seen this latest incident, have been left to thrive under the nose of the country's biggest council, which sits near to the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development headquarters in Lusaka. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
A 29-year-old man of Lusaka's John Howard compound, who died on Sunday after a building they were constructing along Kafue Road in Linda compound fell on him, has been put to rest. The family of the late Joseph Sakala is, however, optimistic that the owner of the building will be cooperative during the compensation discussion. Family representative Lamek Sakala says the stalwart construction company behind the construction of the building that collapsed has been cooperative. Here's a report.
Family members are still in despair and cannot believe that their beloved Joseph Sakala, 29, is gone after an unfinished building where he went for piecework in a bid to earn a living collapsed on him on Sunday, 30th July 2023. The late Joseph Sakala, who had reported for piecework for the first time at the construction of a building, met his fate after they were putting concrete on one of the floors of the building when the upper story caved in, leaving Sakala trapped under the rubble of the building. The building is believed to have fallen due to leakages on the pillars of the building which were being mended. Speaking at the burial of the late Joseph Sakala, family representative Lamek Sakala says his family does not anticipate encountering challenges as they initiate compensation negotiations with Stewart Construction Company.
To sit down with them and discuss and see the way forward. Because just from the look of things, I think we won't encounter some difficulties with them. Just from the way they've been to us. So we're pretty sure that the things will just go on well when we sit down. Yeah, I don't expect some arguments, rather some difficulties. I think we'll have just a good discussion with them. Okay. Because we can just see what has happened.
Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga confirmed the incident on Monday, July 31, 2023, when a worker, Boniface Mwamelo, 48, reported on behalf of Stewart Construction Company that a building under construction collapsed. Born on 4th April 1994, Joseph Sakala has been put to rest at Lusaka's Leopards Hill Cemetery. The need for regulatory bodies in the construction industry to enhance inspections and enforcement cannot be ignored. We await to hear from the findings of the Engineering Institute of Zambia, EIZ, on the issue. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Police have arrested a Lusaka-based clergy, Apostle Christopher Kunda, for assaulting a fellow clergy, Reverend Nelson Muhango, on Monday, 31st July 2023. Apostle Kunda is alleged to have punched his fellow clergy for advising him to desist from having an affair with a female church member. This is after the wife of Apostle Kunda invited Reverend Muhango to counsel the couple in Lusaka's Chilenje area. The incident is believed to have occurred on July 31st, 2023 at Society Business Park between Cairo Road and Chachacha Road, where Apostle Kunda is alleged to have assaulted Reverend Muhango of Lusaka's Bumper Harvest Church. The duo differed after Reverend Muhango repeatedly advised Apostle Kunda against him allegedly having a love affair with a female member of his church. In other news, the Patriotic Front acting Vice President, Given Lubinda, has assured the People's Republic of China that his party will reverse the setting up of the African Command Center in Zambia once it returns into office in 2026. Mr. Lubinda says the relationship between Zambia and the People's Liberation Army of China has been affected by the fact that AFRICOM has been established in Zambia, which is serving the interests of the American people. He says there is no way that the People's Liberation of China will participate in any activities in Zambia when the country is now being aligned and commanded by America. We have more details in this report.
China, particularly with the People's Liberation Army, is going to be affected negatively by Zambia's decision to set up in Zambia the AFRICOM, the command center of the American Army. We would like to appeal to the Chinese people that this is but a very temporary setback. In a few years from now, obviously, the UPND will not be in existence as a government and will have to reverse, especially decisions such as the setting up of the Africa Command Center in Zambia. That decision will have to be reversed because it is not in the interest of Zambia, it is not in the interest of our neighboring countries, it is not in the interest of Africa, it is not in the interest of other nations that are willing to cooperate with Zambia. We have always been a non-aligned state, and this is the reason why we are getting cooperation from everywhere. But now that we are allowing ourselves to be commandeered by the Americans, it will be at the expense of the cooperation of other countries, which is obviously to the detriment of our country.
President Hakainde Hichilema has announced a visa waiver for Israeli nationals entering Zambia. President Hichilema says the long process of acquiring a visa in itself is an impediment to development between the nations. The head of state explained that the removal of the visa requirements for Israeli nationals is aimed at facilitating easier business interactions that promote trade and investment. He says the removal of visa requirements for Israeli nationals is enveloped in the strong diplomatic relationship that continues to exist between Zambia and Israel. President Hichilema made this announcement during the Israel-Zambia Business Forum in Israel, which was being held under the theme Agro-Business Opportunities to Guarantee Food Security. Meanwhile, Israel Deputy Director General for Economic Affairs Division, Ravia Zadok, is keen to partner with Zambia in addressing issues of food security and climate change. President Hichilema has since arrived back in the country from Israel, where he had gone on state visit. In other news this evening, the Constitutional Court has dismissed the matter in which the Zambia Community Development Initiative Program sued the Attorney General seeking an interpretation of whether a former head of state immunity extends to criminal investigations, searches and seizures. Initiative's Managing Director Hendrix Nyambe submitted that the Drug Enforcement Commission's actions of searching a property belonging to former President Edgar Lungu are illegal and a disregard for the victim's rights, immunity, status and standing. In his affidavit in support of originating summons, argues that Lungu's immunity has not been lifted by Parliament. Here's a report.
The Constitutional Court has dismissed the matter in which the Zambia Community Development Initiative Program sued Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha in the Constitutional Court seeking clarification on whether a former head of state's immunity extends to criminal investigations, searches and seizures. Initiative Managing Director Hendrix Nyambe submitted before the Concourt that the Drug Enforcement Commission DEC actions of searching a property believed to be owned by former President Edgar Lungu is illegal and disrespectful to the former president's right, immunity, status and standing. Mr. Nyambe argues in his affidavit in support of originating summons that Lungu's immunity has not been lifted by Parliament and explains that the objective is to promote the welfare of citizens above 60 years old. But in delivering judgment on behalf of a panel of Constitutional Court judges who include Constitutional Court Deputy President Justice Arnold Mwetwashilimi, Justice Palan Mulonda, Lady Justice Mlongoti, Justice Martin Musaluke, Lady Justice Maria Kawimbe, ruled that the application wrongly moved the court under originating summons. In her ruling, Justice Kawimbe says the application is initiated on matters that are personalized and contentious. The court also considers the contested positions of the parties and indicates that the type of accuracy, in their view, goes against the interpretive authority of dealing with issues that are general in nature and seek a legitimate purpose for clarification. The Constitutional Court has since dismissed the matter in its totality. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Health Minister Sylvia Masebo has warned that government will not hesitate to prosecute all those who will be found stealing medicines from health facilities. Ms. Masebo says she hopes stakeholders will explore ways to mitigate thefts of medicines and medical supplies in public health institutions and propose and document intervention strategies to curtail the vice. She says theft of medicines are not only illegal but are unethical, as they directly affect the lives of the most vulnerable members of our society. The minister was speaking at a consultative meeting on the theft of medicines and medical supplies from public health facilities in Lusaka.
The theft and pilfering of medicines in health facilities has continued to negatively affect many lives which are in desperate need of the commodity. In order to curtail the vice, the Ministry of Health has held a consultative meeting on theft of medicines and medical supplies from public health facilities in Lusaka Thursday.
The case of this happened, Honorable Minister, at the Provincial Health Office in Southern Province, involving a pharmacy technologist. The boys stole 550 boxes. You know, 550 boxes. You see these sacks, huh? So these were being sent to Lusaka on a bus.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Sylvia Masebo, who spoke at the meeting, says she is hopeful that stakeholders will explore ways to mitigate theft of medicines and medical supplies in public health institutions, propose and document intervention strategies to curtail the vice.
Around improved inventory management, the ministry, working with other cooperative partners, is making available all inventory management tools to ensure tracking and tracing of transactions as well as movement of medicines and medical supplies. All health workers who deliberately do not want to account for the medicines will be dealt with within the provisions of the law. And I'm aware that the Medicines and Allied Substances Act of 2013 does provide penalties for failure to maintain records of medicines and medical supplies. The weakness we have in this country in general and to the Ministry of Health is that we have enough acts, regulations, but we don't apply them, don't enforce.
Meanwhile, Ministry Permanent Secretary in charge of administration, Professor Christopher Simonga, says the ministry has constituted a national task force against the pilfering and theft of medicines, comprising of various law enforcers.
Ladies and gentlemen, government interventions are as follows. Government has a zero tolerance both to drug theft and negative drug audits from the health facilities, and hence the following interventions are being proposed. Number one, increasing end-to-end visibility of the supply chain for decision-making and immediate intervention. Enhancement of the ELMIS intelligence system. Implementation of the Global Standards 1 to enhance traceability of commodities in Zambia, and but not limited to warehouse intelligence system enhancements.
The stakeholders have since deliberated on the matter to find lasting solutions to the challenges. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You are watching the main news on Camnet TV. We now take a set of commercials. Do join me for more news after this break.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and uninterrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
In our quest to serve nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Hello Zambia. Greetings to all soccer-loving Zambians. I am Dr. Stenkusi from the Czech Republic, and I will bring with me soccer agent Mr. Jakub Skibík and the coach Mr. Pavel Ondračka, both from the Czech Republic as well. Football league in the Czech Republic is a qualitative and competitive league in the world. Knowing that, there are a lot of highly talented footballers in Zambia. All of us will be visiting Zambia from the 2nd to 6th of August 2023 in partnership with Camnet Football Academy. Agent and coach will come to Lusaka, Zambia to look at promising young Zambian players. Chances are that hard-working players may get engagement in the Czech Republic and including other European leagues. We look forward to seeing you at the tournament, which will be organized by Pastor Moses Chiluba of Camnet Television. See you soon!
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you for staying with us. We now continue with the rest of the news. The Zambia Medicines and Medical Supply Agency, ZAMSA, has assured the general public that Zambia will not experience a shortage of medicines, at least for the next 6 months. ZAMSA Public Relations Officer Gift Kalaba says the agency has procured enough drugs to last up to May next year, which he says have already started being distributed in health facilities across the country. Mr. Kalaba says the supply chain of drugs is slowly improving and will stabilize soon.
We started the distribution of the health center kits countrywide, and so far so good. The distribution has gone on well. all the provinces have reported that they have received these health center kits, and our feedback so far is indicating that we are having a positive impact on the facilities, and of course the beneficiaries who are the people. So as an agency, we are really excited about this development, but that is not all. We are doing other major procurements with our cooperating partners to ensure that we have a sustained supply chain, so with regards to servicing these health facilities. So as far as the primary health care is concerned, ZAMSA is delivering up to the last mile. We are using our own trucks to deliver up to the furthest facility in Kaputa, in Mwinilunga, Kashikishi, to ensure that everyone is serviced. And apart from the health center kits, the agency has also procured in huge quantities the IV fluid. So each and every major hospital countrywide has received, there are others will receive soon these IV fluids. So just like to urge the public to start visiting the health posts, the clinics, the facilities, so that they get the necessary medicines that they need, because we are delivering these safe medicines to communities so that they can also benefit. The agency procured 42,000 health center kits, and every after 2 months we will be distributing these center kits, 7,000 every after 2 months, 7,000 every after 2 months. So we are looking at a sustained supply of these medicines to facilities for the next 12 months. That is from June 2023 to May 2024. So this, as far as primary health care is concerned, 2024 we are looking at this stable, sustained supply chain of commodities.
The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, says it has reduced the income collected on rent from 10% under the withholding tax to 4% for taxpayers whose annual income is 800,000 kwacha or less, and 12.5% for taxpayers whose annual income exceeds 800,000 kwacha, which is collected under rental income tax. Speaking to Camnet News at the ongoing Zambia Agriculture and Commercial Show, Acting Assistant Director of Customer Experience, Chinyama Nyarenda, says the first 12,000 kwacha collected on annually rent will be taxed at 0%. She says this will allow taxpayers to have relief and inject back some cash flow into their operations. She says various other tax initiatives have been introduced, various under the domestic tax. She says this is to encourage clients to pay their taxes promptly. Details in this report.
Inviting you to come through and just come and have an understanding of what these tax incentives are all about. So what are we talking about? Remember, most of the businesses were hit with COVID disruption. So a lot of business were affected, and also not only that, there were no sales that were made in that period. So government, and through the Ministry of Finance and ZRA, did introduce what we call a tax amnesty. So tax amnesty, this was one of the incentives that we gave out to our dear taxpayers out there, for them to get some form of relief. So we were waiving penalties that were on people's accounts, and also just allowing you to pay the principal amount, and that will be it. So we are also excited to see about 14,000 applications were made in this period, and we are happy to see that these were processed and actually revenue was collected. The other incentive that is interesting for our viewers is that of rental income. If you know and remember very well that before 2023, rental income was charged at 10%. Not anymore. We have reduced it. It's now at 4%. So it's 4% of what you collect as a landlord. And previously it was the landlord, the tenant who was supposed to collect that rental tax. Now it has moved to the landlord. So landlords, you are only supposed to get 10% of the amount that you are getting. But on top of that, government has also reduced the rental amount you are supposed to pay. So if you are receiving rent with 1,000 every month, it means in essence you're not supposed to pay any tax. Okay, so those are the incentives that we are talking about. So any amount that is below 12,000 per annum will be taxed at 0, then the rest is what we tax at 4%. So those are the incentives that we're talking about. The other incentive is for small businesses. These are businesses that are registered under income tax. Okay, so again, income tax is for businesses that are registered for.
Climate change activist Abel Musumali has implored the government to expedite the enactment of the climate change bill. Mr. Musumali regrets that the country does not have a climate change act to govern the sector. He was speaking when featured on Camnet TV Breakfast Show on Wednesday.
Just to, to implore government that the climate change bill, I think it's time that it should be taken to Parliament for debate and the enactment, because once it is enacted, then it will become law. Currently, as we speak, Zambia doesn't have, a legal framework that should govern climate change issues. We have policies, yes, climate change policy, we have environment policies, we have, but a policy in itself is not enough. We need an act of Parliament, we need law to be established. So we are behind schedule, and we expect that very soon that should be taken to Parliament, so that issues of climate change are dealt with, beyond what is happening right now. And also the media have got a huge role to play in these issues of creating awareness on issues of climate change and the environmental sustainability. So climate change has now become, the issues of human rights now in these issues of climate change. There's what we call climate justice. So even legal bodies out there should take these issues of climate change with serious concern, because issues of climate justice is something that which we are advocating for, to say climate justice should begin to be respected, so that those people that are affected are able to be helped, to start a new life, in this case.
We now take another set of commercials. Do join me for the rest of the stories shortly after this break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello Zambia. Greetings to all soccer-loving Zambians. I am Dr. Sten Pusi from the Czech Republic, and I will bring with me soccer agent Mr. Jakub Skibik and the coach Mr. Pavel Ondrečka, both from the Czech Republic as well. Football League in the Czech Republic is a qualitative and competitive league in the world. Knowing that, there are a lot of highly talented footballers in Zambia. All of us will be visiting Zambia from the 2nd to 6th of August 2023 in partnership with Camnet Football Academy. Agent and coach will come to Lusaka, Zambia to look at promising young Zambian players. Chances are that hard-working players may get engagement in the Czech Republic and including other European leagues. We look forward to seeing you at the tournament, which will be organized by Pastor Moses Chiluba of Camnet Television. See you soon!
Thank you for still staying with us. In international news, General Salif Modi, one of the officers behind the coup in Niger, visited Mali on Wednesday and met with officials from the country. Modi and his delegation attended a meeting with Colonel Assimi Goïta, who seized control of the landlocked West African country nearly 3 years ago. Western countries fear that Niger will fall under Russia's influence after the coup, especially as Mali has welcomed up to 1,000 fighters from the Wagner Group. We have more in this report.
General Salif Modi, one of the officers behind the coup in Niger, visited Mali on Wednesday and met with officials from the country. Modi and his delegation attended a meeting with Colonel Assimi Goïta, who seized control of a landlocked West African country nearly 3 years ago. Western countries fear that Niger will fall under Russia's influence after the coup, especially as Mali has welcomed up to 1,000 fighters from the Wagner Group. Burkina Faso and another military junta-led Mali have taken the unusual step of declaring that foreign military intervention in neighboring Niger after last week's coup could be considered as a declaration of war against them too. Russia has played in such sentiments by framing itself to African nations as a country that never colonized the continent, winning support in Mali and other vulnerable nations for Moscow and Russian mercenary group Wagner.
In Niger, the impacts of economic sanctions are now being felt by the people. The cost of goods and services have gone up after the country experienced a coup that toppled President Mohamed Bazoum. Basic commodities like rice have shot up by 30% since the coup. We used to buy this 25 kilograms of rice at $17. It went up at some point and we were buying it between $17 to $18, but today we are paying close to $23. The countries of the West African Regional Bloc, known as ECOWAS, imposed trade and financial sanctions to put pressure on the military to return the country to democratic control. We know very well that we trade with bordering countries since we aren't a country with direct access to the sea. Everything we order arrives at the port of neighboring countries, and from these neighboring countries we have to transport it to Niger. So if these countries decide to close their borders, frankly, there will be an impact on the socio-economic life of Nigerians. Niger's land and air borders with the 5 neighboring countries have now been reopened almost a week after they were closed.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said Wednesday that he supports more countries joining the BRICS group, which currently includes Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. President Lula added that a consensus was needed and joining countries will have to comply to the bloc's rules. We're going to discuss the entry of new countries, and I am of the opinion that as many countries want to enter, if they are in compliance with the rules we're establishing, we will accept the country's entrance. President Lula went on to hail the prospects of the Chinese-backed New Development Bank, commonly known as the BRICS Bank, which is currently funding infrastructure projects in Brazil. I think the BRICS Bank needs to be more effective and more generous than the IMF. That is, the bank is there to help save countries and not to help sink countries, which the IMF often does.
Porque é o que o FMI faz muitas vezes.
The group will hold a summit in Johannesburg in August with an in-hand list of others desiring to join.
And in sports news, Morocco has bet Colombia by 1-0 to reach the Women's World Cup knockout stages, creating yet more history at the tournament. Morocco has become the first Arab or North African nation to go beyond the group stages at the Women's World Cup and the only one of 8 tournament newcomers to advance. Their winning goal came in first half stoppage time when Anissa Lamir scored from a penalty rebound after captain Ghislaine Chebag saw her spot kick served. The win made Morocco qualified second place in the group behind Colombia, and their win ensured two-time champions Germany could not progress. The two-ranked side needed a win over South Korea in a game played simultaneously in Brisbane, but were held to a 1-1 draw. The Moroccans were trounced 6-0 by Germany in their debut game in the tournament, but bounced back with consecutive wins over South Korea and the Colombia team that had been growing in confidence after ending Germany. Morocco joins Nigeria and South Africa in the quarter-finals at the ongoing Australia-New Zealand Women's World Cup. Still in sports news, the Mazabuka District Education Sports Department has had its challenges to lack of sports equipment cushioned after an engineering firm dismissed in the district contributed 2 sets of jerseys through the District Education Board Secretary's office. Camnet Engineering made the donation following a request from the District Sports Department to various companies that are operating in Mazabuka to help address some of the challenges faced by schools in various sports disciplines. Managing Director at Camnet Engineering Services, Benzu Chepa, says her firm decided to respond to the request because it is part of the company's policy to give back to the community it operates in to build schools sports around the area. Chepa notes that it would not appreciate for the firm to remain mute to the request and allow the Mazabuka Sports Department represent the district in different competitions without proper sports equipment, hence the move to come on board. Mazabuka District Sports Chairman Emmanuel Njolo, who received the donation, disclosed that the jerseys worth 16,000 kwacha were received this week from Camnet Engineering following a request it made by the Debs in January 2023. He says that the jerseys will be used by the schools association in the district as they have come at a time when the district is expected to prepare.
So sometime last, I think in March, we received a letter from the Deb's office requesting for assistance. They needed some jerseys for the district, the soccer jerseys. So as Camnet Engineering, we take corporate social responsibility seriously. So we responded to that letter and we delivered those jerseys. So we donated 2 sets of jerseys, each set consisting of 18 pairs of jerseys. They were delivered on the 1st of, we took them to the Deb's office on the 1st of August 2023. And in addition to that, we've done many other activities here in Mazabuka. Sometime last year, we donated desks at Namoroka Primary School. And I think 2 weeks ago, we donated some bins in partnership with Stanbic Bank. We took some bins to the council.
That item brings us to the end of the main news broadcast, but before I go, here's a recap of the stories making headlines. Workers assaulted by a Chinese national speak out. Unknown people demolish booths at COMESA market. Given LUBINDA assures China of removing AFRICOM from Zambia once PF bounces back in 2026. In international news, Niger COUP leader visits Mali. And in sports news, Morocco progresses to the knockout stage of the FIFA Women's World Cup. And now we look at the Camnet verse of the day coming from the book of James, chapter 3, verse 9 to 10. With the tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse men who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers, this should not be. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.